Hello, and welcome to Dyslexia Decoded, where we unravel the mysteries of dyslexic minds and celebrate the incredible potential within us all. I'm Teacher Maggie, and whether you're dyslexic, know someone who is, or just love a good story, you're in the right place. Today is not only my 43rd birthday, but it's also the launch of our journey together into the world of learning differently and loving it. Let's dive right in. So, I grew up thinking the purpose of school was merely to survive each day while doing as little as possible. And believe me, I was an expert at doing the bare minimum. But there were moments even in the struggle, that hinted at something more within me. Moments that would eventually lead me to today, where I get to change the story for kids just like me. So I bet you've never met someone who literally ate their homework. Yep, you heard that right. Ate it. But before you start imagining some wild story involving a dog, let me assure you, this one's all on me. Let's kick things off with a little story about desperation, innovation, and, well, paper eating. In the second grade, a full page of addition problems and a brain that just couldn't handle it. My parents had told me I couldn't have dinner until I finished my homework. Well, staring at those numbers made my head spin, and I was pretty sure I'd starve to death before I got through it all. Desperation kicked in, and in a moment of sheer panic, I did what any resourceful kid on the brink of starvation would do. I ate my homework. I tore that paper into tiny pieces and ate it bit by bit, hoping my parents would feel sorry for me and they'd forget all about the math. Well, spoiler alert, that didn't exactly go as planned, but it was just one of many moments that defined my journey with dyslexia, a journey that I didn't even know had a name until much later in life. In the fourth grade, when my teacher decided to lighten the mood with some riddles, they were visual riddles. So it said like reading, Reading, and had a line between each letter. And the answer was reading between the lines. There was a bunch of riddles like that. He'd draw them up on the chalkboard. Well, I knew every one. I, I surprised everyone, myself included, by getting them all right. But instead of earning applause, I earned suspicion. My history of poor academic performance led my classmates and even my teacher to believe I must be cheating. I wasn't awarded the prize that day, but I was awarded something else, a glimpse of my potential, a hint that maybe, just maybe, there was more to me than test scores and failed assignments. And then there was creativity, the one area that I could not only compete but excel. I thrived on projects that required thinking outside the box, like designing a Valentine's Day card for a school wide contest and winning a Snicker bars for that, might I add, and crafting the craziest hat for a church event. These were the moments I lived for, where my ideas could take flight, unencumbered by the heavy chains of spelling rules and grammar correction. But I didn't let that stop me. By the time I got to high school, I had figured out that if I couldn't be the best at the normal stuff, I'd find other ways to stand out. Enter the obituary project in my 10th grade English class. Yep, you heard me right. Write your own obituary. While everyone else turned in a standard essay, I decided to go all out. I created a mock newspaper column complete with all the stylistic flair of a real obit. My writing was still pretty rough, but my teacher was wowed by my creativity. She even said, "Marguerite, you wowed me." All those words went straight to my heart, to my gut. That moment was huge for me. It was one of the first times I felt seen for what I could do instead of what I couldn't. College wasn't much easier, but I was determined to make it. One professor in particular, Dr. Stalker, made a massive difference. After reading my first paper, she just didn't sugarcoat it. My writing was a mess, but instead of just handing it back and moving on, she offered to help. She gave me early deadlines, reviewed my work, and explained the changes I needed to make. That year, I learned more about writing than I had in all the years before. And it wasn't even a writing class, it was anthropology. Today, I stand before you not just a survivor of that educational gauntlet, but as a guide and advocate for those still running it. I founded a virtual tutoring company and an in person learning center here in the beautiful Maryville, Tennessee. Strong Minds is a place where students like me and those who think differently because of dyslexia or other learning differences can thrive. Here, we don't just work to overcome challenges, we embrace our unique talents in STEM, robotics, 3D printing, and Lego engineering. It's a place where failure is seen not as a setback, but as a stepping stone to greater understanding and success. You see, life throws challenges at all of us. But as Dave Pilkey, the author of Dog Man and Captain Underpants, says, it's up to you to decide if that challenge is a good thing or a bad thing. You can let those challenges motivate you to push harder, or you can let them hold you back. Feeling sorry for yourself? Yeah, that doesn't get you anywhere. Trust me, I've tried. Dyslexia runs in my family. Dyslexia runs in my family, and my son is living proof of the gift that comes with a dyslexic brain. He is brilliant. His problem solving skills are incredible, and the things he builds with Lego, let's just say I'm pretty sure he could give some engineers a run for their money. But when he came home from kindergarten, heartbroken because he couldn't attend the Hundreds Club party that his school had arranged to reward the children who had mastered their first 100 sight words, I saw myself in him. I will do a whole separate episode on why sight words are not based in the science of reading. This day was tough for my mama heart, so I did what any mom would do. I threw him his own epic 100 club party at home, and we celebrated his unique strength instead of punishing him for his learning difference. Today, I am blessed to be able to homeschool 6 of my 8 children. One is still a baby, and my oldest at 18 is off fulfilling God's plan for his life, and he is devoted to reaching the lost in this world. All of my children are living and thriving in ways I never could have imagined for myself at their age. Today, as a homeschooling parent myself, if I ever worry about failing at teaching a topic, I remind myself that my only real job is to keep the fire of curiosity alive in my children. My children love asking questions, solving problems, and turning their wild imaginations into reality. Whether that's building a castle from sofa cushions or a spaceship from cardboard boxes, they're learning that the real magic of education isn't just in knowing facts, but in the journey of discovery. And this brings me to the reason behind this podcast and a story about someone who has become a personal hero of mine, Bob Ballard, the dyslexic oceanographer who is famous for discovering the Titanic's final resting place. Ballard's journey wasn't just about finding a sunken ship, it was about proving that thinking differently could solve some of history's greatest mysteries. While the rest of the world searched in vain, Ballard looked where others thought it impossible. His friends thought he was crazy for taking on such a mission, but after each unsuccessful trip, he'd simply say, "At least we know where it isn't." And when he finally succeeded, he proved that doing the impossible wasn't just about luck. It was about perspective, perseverance, and embracing one's unique way of seeing the world. Ballard famously said that he prefers to do things that are considered impossible. In his words, when you do the impossible and fail, so what? It was impossible anyway. But what if you do the impossible and succeed? That is where lies the magic of life. And he's right. No one is built to do the impossible quite like a dyslexic. We've been doing it our whole life, finding ways to navigate a world that doesn't align with how our brains work, turning what many see as a disadvantage into a toolkit for innovation and discovery. In an upcoming episode, I'll dedicate an entire session to Bob Ballard, exploring not just his famous discovery, but how his dyslexia shaped his approach to problem solving and his entire career. Ballard is more than just an oceanographer. He is a champion for dyslexics everywhere, a testament to the power of thinking differently and embracing the challenges that come with it. So, why am I sharing all of this with you? Because I want you to know that no matter what challenges you or your child may be facing, there is hope. There's a way forward. In this podcast, alongside sharing some inspiring stories, I aim to provide actionable tips and practical advice to empower students and their advocates. We'll discuss strategies for navigating school systems, tools for effective learning, and ways to advocate for the necessary accommodations. My hope is to make each episode a resource that brings value and encouragement, making your journey a little easier and a lot more hopeful. Thank you for joining me today on our very first conversation. Remember, new episodes drop every Monday, and while we aim to keep them concise, my goal is to pack each one with insights and strategies that you can take into your daily life. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe, share it with someone who might benefit, and join us next week as we continue to explore the incredible potential of dyslexic minds. Together, we can transform challenges into triumph and fear into fortitude. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if you enjoyed this story, share it with someone who might need to hear it. I am Teacher Maggie, and this is Dyslexia Decoded. Until next time, stay strong and stay fearless.